The views, opinions, and information shared during the KC Youth Services podcast series belong solely to the individuals involved. Any recommendations or advice given during the podcast is general in nature and does not replace the need to seek professional advice where necessary. If you are in need of urgent assistance, please call 000 or the Kids Helpline on 1800 55 1800.
The City of Casey proudly acknowledges the traditional owners, Casey's Aboriginal communities and their rich culture, and pays respect to their elders past, present and future. We acknowledge Aboriginal people as Australia's first peoples and as the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we work and live. I would also like to acknowledge that we are recording this podcast today gratefully on Bunurong country.
Hello everyone and welcome to Season 4, Episode 7 of the KC Youth Services podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Tessa.
And I'm Daniel.
And today we are pleased to be joined by South East Community Links Manager of Youth Engagement, Junior. Welcome, Junior.
Welcome.
Yay.
So good to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me here.
All right. I feel like we've already gotten to know you a little bit, but we do have an icebreaker just to lighten and break everything up. So for ours today, we'd love to know, what's your favorite food to cook? Daniel and I were both chefs previously, and it's a question that we get asked all the time. So we're curious to know, what's your favorite food to cook?
Wow. I have a very limited, menu.
That's okay. You've got kids as well.
However, whatever I do, it's, my kids love it, which is that's a hard,
Just do a few things really well.
So my favorite one, it's rice and beans. So I have a Brazilian background. Mm-hmm. So over there we eat a lot of black beans, and we cooked on a pressure cooker, and, there's so many different ways to do it. But I do very basic, seasoning very, very mild for my children. Yeah. But they love it, which is, to me, as a migrant of myself and raising children here, it's, you wanted to embrace as much as you can from everywhere. But I think you need to, you had the need to be connected to your culture as well.
Definitely.
And this was one of the things that I was very passionate to make sure. So if you don't like rice and beans, I don't know, and like football, I'll question my fatherhood. So, so yes, they love that, and that's one of the few dishes that even when they're not feeling well, that's the few things that they can eat. So I'm very proud of that.
Aww.
So yes, this is my signature dish. I can do a few other stuff, but
that one sounds great.
Absolutely.
I need to make sure bring one for. Have a meal here together one day.
Yeah, I won't say no to that.
No way. And what about you, Tess?
Oh, what's my favorite?
Seeing as we've never covered it.
Honestly, probably any type of Italian. It's really hard to choose though, but
there's so much.
Yeah.
Being a chef.
What about you?
I don't know. I like a big breakfast. I like cooking a big breakfast.
Yeah, I do like a big breakfast. Mm-hmm.
So I guess we just want to start. Can you just tell us a little bit about your journey into the role and sort of what it entails, and what kind of things do you do for self-care that make sure that you give your most to your clients and your other workers?
I'll do a big overview of my journey into, youth services, and obviously leading up to become manager at Southeast Community Links. Yep. I started volunteering inside the youth detention in Parkville and Malmesbury, doing some sports role model. Through a program, and soon after I joined our organization and actually started working there for the, as I was studying at university for 3-4 years or so, and I think being based at the youth detention and learning and seeing how young people end up in there, it made me shape my work outside and how I could do programs and engage with young people in early stages of their lives to prevent them to end up in the system. Yeah. And what I realized was a lot of young people would do mistakes that normal, grown-up young person would do.
Yeah, of course.
We all have been, young and do some things that we not fully proud of, but obviously the intention and the frequency that those young people inside the youth detention doing those things, that's what helped them to be there. So I think to me was, hang on, let's, there's a way to put some work outside and make sure you prevent this to happen. And since then, so I start my journey to, work with young people in a youth engagement space. And so I transitioned to a few organizations and started at Southeast Community Links, part-time, and move on doing programs. Most of my programs are based in the city of Casey, and then work inside the schools, and lead up to now managing a wonderful team that delivers wonderful programs and very efficient programs in the city of Casey. And what I do to, making sure I'm coping well and obviously looking after myself and the team that I manage. I love to socialize. I think it's an important thing to be around friends and families, but also love to work out and play my sport, soccer, go to the gym in the morning. I just start my journey 5:30 this morning.
Oh my gosh!
You're a better man than me.
So by 9:30, when recording this, I've been to the gym. I've done my kids' breakfast, dropped them at school, and it's a full day in 4 hours. So.
Yep. And how long have you been with Southeast Community Links now?
So I've been with Southeast Community Links for the past 9 years.
Wow.
9 years, yeah. Been a good journey. Different programs. I think an advantage that I see nowadays to me, it's all the programs that I'm managing now, I actually deliver those programs. And I think understanding the difficulty that the workers would have on the ground, plus as well, seeing on the other side of the table things that we can contribute to make the delivery of programs and engagement with young people and supporting the community from a manager point of view, but with the eyes of someone who delivers the program, it makes a difference, and it does reflect on how we engage with young people and how we reach out and how we bring young people to the programs and making sure whatever we do, it's very impacting their lives.
Yeah, and also the consistency for the young people to always see your face. They know you.
I do see this as a benefit, but at the same time, I think, I wanted the program to be more mechanic, not organic, where it's all around one person. I think that the importance of having a familiar face, I think, makes a huge difference. Don't take me wrong. I think with the families, the trust that's built with young people, I think we work predominantly, especially here in the city of Casey, with young people from cultural and linguistic diverse backgrounds. Majority are newly arrived, coming, within a year, 2 years in the country, and their activities, the type of activities and things that we do, sometimes we take them from camps, 3 days away from their families. I mean, being honest, if I arrive in the country and then within 6 months or so, they say, hey, we're going to take your kids for 3 days. Like, oh, who are you guys? I think it's the trust that's built throughout those years, and the familiar face does make a difference. But at the same time, I think it's important to be a program where other people can step in and think, we all passengers in here, and I think building a good ground and legacy and path for the next ones who come. It's important, and that's sort of the way I see my participation or my contribution to this youth space.
Yeah, definitely. There are a lot of fantastic initiatives run by SECL. Could you please tell us about some of them? I'm sure some of us, or hopefully a lot of us, are very curious to find out more.
Look, we have our youth services. Obviously, it's based in Noble Park, which is outside the city of Casey. However, we have on our activities always 65 to 70% young people from Casey.
Oh,
it is something that, look, we do have our settlement team here as well, which delivers settlement here in the city of Casey. But before we deliver the settlement here with our engagement with adult population, we always had a huge participation from young people from the city of Casey. And that We are based in the schools in here,
Yeah.
but the proportion of young people coming from Casey, it's always higher, despite we being based in a different LGA. So it's things that we, I think I'll take credit from being by, the interactions that we have in here, the trust that we have, the programs, the different programs that we delivered. And in terms of programs that we delivered, so I will go, to have employment support, homework support, housing. There's no boundaries in terms of local government area that we can support, and it's only for young people. At the moment, we have an early intervention program called Melo, which is named after our patron, at Southeast Community Links, Mero Mitchell. And this is a program that supports young people disengaging and displaying somewhat antisocial behavior. And they have a mentoring part of this program and a case management component where the workers would really do one-on-one work when it needs, and being very efficient, and has a very good traction with young people in the schools that we are based. Out of our 5 schools that we based, 3 are in the city of Casey, which again shows high demand for this type of program. But at the same time, young people, especially after pandemic, that disengagement, and we all been working on the sector and see how hard it is to get young people back into their normal self, and being young and being active and engaging.
It was such a large percentage of their life when you think about how long 2 years
Completely.
is.
You get young people that started on year 8, and now they, after the pandemic, they were year 10. So that's 2 years of massive portion of the learning, emotionally, social. Anyway, so I guess that's a bit of reflection of what things that happen. We have the Engage program, and so then we have the Empower Youth program, which is the only program that's owned exclusively for young people in the city of Casey. And we support young people in 4 pillars, which is health and well-being, active participate in learning, education and training, employment, and connected to the culture and community. So this is and through leadership when it comes to connect to culture and community as well. So for them to support the staff to co-design some programs and initiatives that they can bring a broader community together and participate in future programs. We, Southeast Community deliver Better Future, L2P, emergency relief. So you name it. There's so many, Navigator. There's so many other programs that we do. And as a service, obviously, there's a wraparound sort of approach where young people can be referred internally, and that makes a difference. But I think most important, it's the partnerships that we forge as well. I think working alongside the city of Casey, work alongside other organizations based in here, Casey Youth Services, we always reaching out whenever we can and looking to do partnerships. I think we all have similar participants in our programs, and there's no point to reinvent the wheel. I think adding value to each other programs, that's a approach that we always try to see at SECL as well.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And off the top of your head, can you think of any success stories that you might want to share?
Look, I would have a few, but just before going to the successful stories, in terms of programs, just one step back, we also have the school holiday and camps as well. I think not many organizations are doing youth camps at the moment.
No, and they really love them.
So yeah, we know one of few organizations that hasn't stopped doing camp. I think we done one. Last one we had 70 young people from 9 different schools. Yeah. I would say 40, close to 40 were from City of Casey. And when you bring the successful stories, I think I'll bring back to camp experience. The majority, usually the proportion, it's very close, probably 55 female, 45 male, which is
good.
Yeah, that's
seeing
awesome.
Yeah.
newly arrived young people not know the country. The parents doesn't know the service as much, and allowing young people to be spending 3 days with us, engaging in a safe manner. Everything is very well coordinated and organized. It is huge, and I would take successful stories. The amount of young people that never been to a camp before and experienced that with us. I think seeing young people outside their comfortable zone, away from the families and how
Helps them grow.
it's
and an
it's a
even
wonderful.
playing field as well. Like
Yeah.
they're all equal. It's not a school camp. Like
No.
there's not the groups.
community.
They're all new there.
We do, obviously there's a camp structure, I'm not sure if you have taken young people in a camp, but obviously being part of one at
Yeah.
some point in your lives, how stressful it can be and making sure everything running smooth and
Yeah.
making sure.
I was going to ask, how many staff members or volunteer does it take to run
Yeah.
something of that size?
Look, if we, when we're doing partnership with other organizations, we can get up to, 50 volunteers, which is huge. And it's a big help. When we do internally, we go with at least, 10 staff, which is a huge resource for organizations not to put it out there. But I think that's something that we value a lot. This is one of the, things that I don't, let go in terms of taking people on those journeys. And like I mentioned, since we started seeing the amount of young people first time participating in the company, engaging, and how they grow after this, and how they wanted to contribute to. And I think that leads to young people participating in our youth leadership group as well, which is huge, and the youth consultancy group that we have for the Empower Youth, which is a huge part of our SECL's development in terms of supporting young people and their skills, as well as making sure they contribute to the community and helping us to shape activity that can support other young people coming up or themselves in the near future.
Yeah, it must be great working for a service that offers help to such a broad range of people in the community, like age range, different whole communities, like everything. Yeah.
Yeah, you get to work with everyone.
We do, and although I would say at the moment at the youth service, 90%, maybe 95% are young people from culturally linguistic diverse background.
Yeah.
We are generalistic youth service. We work with anyone. So, people raised and born here, people just recently arrived, and First Nation people. And we are an organization that accommodates to everyone, and young people from LGBTQI plus accommodating and making sure everyone feel welcome, supported, especially now at the Youth Hub that we just opened in Noble Park. Yeah.
Yes.
We have
Very
our
exciting.
brand new Youth Hub at number 49 Douglas Street, just opposite the Noble Park train station. Please, young people,
Yes, let the people
come
know.
and check out this space.
Absolutely.
We've got, nice, TV, couch, iPads. There's a few games in there. It's a good way to connect, but at the same time, it's a good way to seek support if you need to. Safe space for young people to hang, just to, come and have a chat with one of the workers. So we open, Monday to Friday, drop-ins from 10 to 4:30. We there accommodating. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we close a little bit late because we run the homework club.
Oh, yeah.
Which close at 6. So again, it's another support to young people.
So how does SECL's work impact on the broader community beyond the individuals it directly serves?
I think we work in upskilling the community. I think we work with the community. It's yes, we deliver service to young people, to adults, through the settlement, to financial counseling and all the other service that we have. But I think it's more working with the participants as opposed to work for the participants. Making sure we upskilling, building confidence, I think is a big part as well, and providing enough information that they can navigate the system and to understanding and advocate for themselves whenever they feel ready to do so. I think that's a big part of our approach. With all the adult service, having settlement service, having family violence prevention, so many different programs. Also, providing young people opportunities to contribute to future policies. I think that will affect their lives. So we've done a series of consultation recently, which it's coming up. Results the funds will be coming up soon, and I'll be happy to share with you guys about a new toolkit and making sure young people understand the finance and how to manage their money and how they use that as well. I think that's a big part which is often overlooked, but not only
definitely
young people from cultural and linguistic diverse background, which again, the pressure to find a job to support the family. So again, the experiences that young people that we work with at the moment, with money is different than young people probably born and raised in here that has a more stable situation. The pressures are different. Again, they facing similar challenges, and I think, as being youth, it's challenge itself. But once you add in the lucky of an understanding of how the system works and navigating and if simple public transport, use that type of thing. So all our programs, we incorporate all those aspects, how to build the capacity to young people to really be in a position where they would compete with, you, Daniel, and you, Tessa, whenever, if they're same age, how they can, in a more equal terms when it comes to a job or when it comes to advocate for themselves and so on. So that's big portion and of what we do as well in building into our fun and engaging programs.
Incredibly important work you guys do. So how can a young person or a guardian reach out for your help from your services? What's the easiest way?
Easiest way is to just give us a call, send an email, or stop into one of our offices. We have our office in Dandenong, Noble Park, Springvale. Also, we based at, there's a settlement office here in KC as well. We just moved, but we used to be just behind the library at the community house and they moved recently. I need to get the address. Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay.
But I'll make sure.
We'll put it in the podcast description.
That would be lovely. Yeah. And we're also based in Cardinia as well as all the schools that we here. So we are based at Hampton Park Secondary College, Lyndhurst, Nanuari, South B12 with a few programs. We have an after-school program with the language school in Hampton Park. Another school that we are based as well is Hampton Park English Language School. Good bunch, and I think, the first experience with the education system, and I think being present in that space, it's pivotal to young people, and I guess, having those exposures to services and showing the youth service and all those other supports around them, and even a quick trip to the library, that type of thing, show how it's easy to access.
I guess that just leaves us with just a few more questions we'd love to pick your brain on. Why do you think it's important for people to understand and acknowledge the different challenges faced by young people in our community?
Look, young people will be the voice of the future. I think, we are young relatively, and I think we work in this space providing enough information, upskilling, making sure they are ready to become functional adults and, not only financially, but emotionally, socially stable. I think that's all, but with good values as well, making good decisions. I think this is all part of this work to create the next generation. I think the issues that young people are facing now, lack of, employment, sometimes, it's quite high. This sense of feel safe and, access to public transport. I think there's all issues, I think, that I can see not only in the city of Casey, but around. Yeah. And, access to free things, sport activities, sport clubs. I think it's everything has a cost. And I guess for majority of the young people that work with, cost is a huge barrier. Yeah. Not only that, but I think when you bring new communities, I think making sure they interacting with each other positively. I think the tension sometimes brought by, I'm from this community, I'm from that community. I think, bringing everyone to the same space, making sure they understand that there's no point to have any tensions here, because in 5-10 years later, they're all going to be working together. They'll be adults and, deal with that now as opposed to create some sort of problems. And I think most of the programs that we do, one of the importance is not being associated with any specific, culture background. And I think we have workers from all sorts of experience and cultures. I think that makes a huge difference as well. Bring everyone together to the same space. I think that's one thing that we value a lot. Once you're here in a SECL activity, we are one. Yeah. And if we can replicate this from everywhere you go and understanding where each other coming from, understand each other differences, that will make a huge impact on how you perceive, your local community, how you engage with your neighbor, how you engage with your colleague at school, and so on and so on. I think, to me, there's a lot to do in that space, and it starts with all the service, doing more and more open, events, things that we can bring people together to really support and work with each other. Young people are the future. Hearing the issues now, it's important, and hearing, and not only hearing, but action and what they say as well. I think that's a massive part of our work, and I understand that sometimes it's challenging to implement everything. We gotta, the young people suggest, we should go to overseas, for camp. I was like, yeah, sure. So let's make things, but I think there's a lot of suggestions and things that they bring to the table that, as a relatively young person, we don't see the same eyes as they see, and I think we need to take that more in consideration as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Couldn't agree more with you.
All right. I think I've just got one more question for you. It is another big one. Why do you think it's important to have services that specifically address the needs of migrant families in the region?
Similar to the approach with young people, I think when you bring the cultural aspect and, simple changes, in our offices, we have a room to pray, for instance, and when we do activities over certain holidays, we making sure we understand the limitations for people to participate. Obviously talking more about some of the young people that we work with, but I think it's being to accommodate to everyone. And, I'm bringing the religious aspect, but making sure it's a safe space for people from LGBTQI plus community, to feel welcoming to be in that space as well, making sure young people from other cultural backgrounds are welcome. And I think as a service, we having those approach open the doors to everyone, and making adjustments. I think it's important. Some young people that I work with, it's a simple handshake, and then they wouldn't, because that's something that they don't do, or look in your eyes, because that's not a sign of respect. And like the simple things that we can accommodate as a services, not only SECL, but I think as an organization who majority of the participants are from cultural and linguistic diverse background, especially in the youth service. We're very good in picking up those little things that for us, but it's a huge things for the participants, and makes a huge difference.
Make them feel welcome. Yep.
Completely.
Respect is what it comes down to as well.
Absolutely.
Everyone's different, and that's okay.
Not completely. And obviously I'm talking about, more my majority here on our participants that are born overseas, but again, we need to accommodate as well for, Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander young people, making sure they have the appropriate service, or we can hear that, I think it goes around. It's not only for cultural, linguistic, diverse background people coming from other countries here, newly arrived refugees, asylum seekers, but I think you need to making sure, we welcoming everyone and being, understanding as well where people coming from when we're delivering a service.
Definitely.
That pretty much wraps up our time here with you, Junior. We just want to take the time now to thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I appreciate you coming by.
Yeah.
You've shared a wealth of information from your 9 years with SECL.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So important.
Yeah, I think your service is amazing, and you target so many different parts of this community.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I'd like to leave a really good message as well. Watch this space. We are coming January next year. We are doing something very different. There'll be more coming up. Yes, we're doing some sort of a employment camp coming up. It's a great opportunity to young people. I can't say much at this stage, which I'll make you guys invite me maybe later in the year to talk more about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Can't wait.
But it's a great, it will be a great initiative as an employment camp. We're going to spend 3 days with young people, and at the end of those 3 days, I would say 60-70% of them will leave with employment, and that's guaranteed.
So good.
So it's a very huge experience and opportunity. Watch out the space. There will be more to come.
So that was January?
They'll be in January, but we'll do. There'll be some. We'll do a registration which will close in early December. So between September and late November, that's pretty much where all the mess will be across. We're gonna be sharing.
Make sure you send us.
We'll send it to you
I'll
guys.
definitely reach out to you closer to that day.
It's a unique and one of a kind experience employment camp, which is something that never been done before.
I look forward to hearing more about this.
Yeah, me too. As always, all appropriate links will be attached to the show notes below. To stay up to date with all the exciting things happening in KC Youth Services, please feel free to follow, like, and share us on social media accounts at KC Youth Services.
Feel free to drop into the KC Youth Info Centres. We're open 1:30, 5:15 Monday to Friday with extended hours exclusive to Hampton Park. Please check our website for more details.
Until next time, take care.
Stay safe.